Hello, and welcome to Gathered in Prayer. As you can probably tell, Xerxes is not with us. You may have seen in a previous post that Xerxes passed away back on October the 19th. So it's been almost a week since he passed away. We had asked God several prayers. One, to heal him, and that wasn't in God's plan. The second one, to if he had to go, to take him mercifully. And that was not in God's plan because he did not die a merciful death. But thirdly, we asked that he didn't die alone, and God answered that prayer. So at least he didn't die while we weren't here. And Xerxes' passing has raised a whole lot of questions for me and my wife Suzanne and all of our family, and many of the viewers here on Gathered in Prayer Ministries have many of the same questions. What happened? Why weren't these prayers answered? Why weren't these prayers honored? And as I was searching, looking for different comforts or whatever, I kept coming across one of the most popular ways of people finding our website is by searching for one of the posts that we made back, I believe, in 2012. It was called God's Embroidery. It was a copy of an article written by an unknown source, and it seems to sort of sum things up. Our ways aren't God's ways, and we know this, that God does things. I like to say God plays by God's rules, and God doesn't necessarily tell us everything that he has on his mind. And I want to read you the article or the post about God's embroidery. Again, I don't know who wrote this. He goes like this: God's embroidery. When I was a little boy, my mother used to embroider a great deal. I would sit on her knee and look up from the floor and ask her what she was doing. She informed me that she was embroidering. I told her that it looked like a mess from where I was. As from the underside I watched her work within the boundaries of a little round hoop that she had in her hand, I complained to her that it sure looked messy from where I sat. She would smile at me, look down, and gently say, "My son, you go about your playing for a while, and when I am finished with my embroidering, I will put you on my knee and let you see it from my side." I would wonder why she was using some dark threads along with the bright ones and why they seemed so jumbled from my view. A few minutes would pass, and then I would hear my mother's voice say, "Son, come and sit on my knee." This I did only to be surprised and thrilled to see a beautiful flower or a sunset. I cannot believe it because underneath it looked so messy. Then Mother would say to me, "My son, from underneath it did look messy and jumbled. But you did not realize that there was a pre-drawn plan on the top. It was a design, I was only following it. Now look at it from my side and you will see what I was doing." Many times through the years I've looked up to my Heavenly Father and said, "Father, what are you doing?" He has answered, "I am embroidering your life." I say, "But it looks like a mess to me. It seems so jumbled. The threads seem so dark. Why can't they all be bright?" The Father seems to tell me, "My child, you go about your business of doing my business, and one day I will bring you to heaven and put you on my knee, and you will see the plan from my side." So that kind of helps me in understanding that what looks like a mess now, what is hard to understand, and it's hard to understand how God could take a little kitty cat, or how God could, especially how God could put a small child who's never even had the chance to run and jump and play, how God could take a small child like that and have them die of very devastating diseases or illnesses, and how God could put what would seem like innocent people through pain and toil and problems, and yet some people who seem to be very evil, very corrupt, very wrongdoing, seem to prosper and do well and don't appear to have any problems. The answer is, again, God plays by God's rules, and that we don't see everything from this side. Now on this post, I have two videos will be posted along with this one, down up under, where a friend of mine, pastor, explains in a sermon, and it's in two pieces, the sermon's in two pieces, tries to explain how God's plan works, and it doesn't always look as if the good are prospering, and it often looks like the evil is prospering. And it's very interesting in this particular video. He's talking in the book of Esther, and as you know, Esther was married to King, Xerxes was the actual Persian name. Ahasuerus, I think is the name used in the Bible. I don't really know exactly. But if you look in the NIV Bible, it's Xerxes. And so I thought that was very appropriate. It was God's way of kind of talking to us, that it's King Xerxes that married Queen Esther. Anyway, along the years, I remember back when I was in high school, sitting in band class, and one day, for whatever reason, we weren't having a organized band class, and we students were left to entertain ourselves where other business was taking place for the band. And our drum major, Doug Anderson, took out a canvas, one of those mounted frame canvases, and began painting. And quite a few of us guys gathered around and watched him paint. And one of the fellows would suggest that maybe Doug was painting one thing, another guy would say he's painting another thing. And we all sat around and tried to figure out what it was that Doug was painting. And each brush stroke revealed a little more, and with each brush stroke we were a little more wrong with figuring out what the painting was going to be. Now, I don't remember what the end result of that painting was. I don't even know if he finished it during that band period. But it was interesting to see how a little along the painting was revealed to us. And at the end of things, we were able to tell what the end result was going to be. And I believe very much that that's the way that it's going to be the kingdom of heaven. That we're revealed some things a little along, and oftentimes we're wrong about what the end result will be. But when we get to heaven, the painting will be finished, and we'll be able to see what God's plan was. If you have any prayer requests or questions that maybe we can answer for you, drop us a line at Gindy's Videos. Email is gindysvideos@gmail.com. We'd like to hear from you. Please keep us in your prayers, and we'll be praying for you. This is a Federal Trade Commission required notice. When you click on an advertisement that is displayed with this video, or just before it, we receive a small commission. Sometimes, if you merely watch an ad, we receive commission. If you purchase anything by clicking on links on any of our websites, we receive a commission as well. These great redneck coffee mugs are available at www.cafepress.com/redneckforpresident. We receive a commission off of them as well. You can also purchase buttons, yard signs, etc. from that website.